Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. What will we speak about in today's video? We'll speak about Manuel Locatelli. No, I'm joking, I'm sorry. Why am I making that joke in early morning? It's because I was reading your comments of yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and some of you were noticing the fact that in the last few days we spoke a lot about Manuel Locatelli, with some people saying, Beppe, he did one good game against Lazio, and it's Locatelli here, Locatelli there. Mamma mia, speak about something else, Beppe. Well, you're probably correct. It's not my fault. It's absolutely not my fault. I'm reporting what the papers are speaking about, the trends. And it's true that if we were speaking about a Manu Locatelli that was not performing really well in the beginning, did a beautiful performance in that regista role with La Nazionale Italiana, and we were hoping for him replicating that game that he did with Spalletti. He did against Lazio, and yesterday we were speaking about renewal of contract. So if you are going through the papers, they were speaking mainly about Locatelli. Of course, I could have spoken about, I don't know, Paul Pogba situation, but we have no more news. So what do I have to talk about? When I start speaking about Paris Saint-Germain, Dortmund, people are pissed off because I'm not speaking about Juve. But anyway, we'll speak about something totally different today, because if you are aware, yesterday the doors of La Continassa were open for journalists, but also for the tifosi. There was a double session. One of them was open for the public. So it's fantastic. I had the opportunity to talk with some people that were present, and they confirmed me some things that we were able to read online, and they told me some hidden secret. So I will report all of that, anticipating you 3 words. The first one is intensity. Yes, intensity. The second one is new test, especially for some players that has been tested in other roles. And the third one is knocks and injuries, because I have to give you, of course, an update about Alexandro, Rabiot, Weston McKennie. So put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel, and let's try to make it a habit again to go over these 500 likes. I know it's easier to get some views, to get some likes, to get some interaction when Juventus is not doing well. I was speaking about it with Romeo Agresti, and we all have the same with content creators. When Juventus is doing bad, views, likes, interaction. When Juventus is doing relatively well or better, well, people looks like they are a bit more disinterested. So let's make it a habit, maximum of like, because now we start with the first page of Tutto Sport. Juve Elettrica, Electric Juve show in La Continassa in front of the eyes of Luciano Spalletti. Of course, we'll speak about Luciano Spalletti and what he did yesterday next to Massimiliano Allegri, next to Cristiano Giuntoli. Is it to prepare his come to Juventus in a few years? No, he did something else, but I will tell you everything. So let's go back to intensity, the first word that we wanted to speak, and I chose one picture, the one of that aerial duel between Rabiot and Urugani. Players, not only them, but all the players fighting to win some ball, because you know it, with one game a week, you have to show everything in training session to win a spot in the starting 11 of the weekend. Nuova Juve, new Juventus, intensità al max, intensity at the max level. Yesterday, people told me there were years that they didn't see, when we had this open training session, intensity at that level. Is it a coincidence? No, because you know it when you are following the channel. I'm telling you these words: high pressing, higher average block, intensity, runs, keywords repeated by Massimiliano Allegri, but also by the players in interviews that were saying we are with other expectations. We want to play in a different way. The expectation for us is that we run. And I give you a small secret of what happened yesterday in La Continassa. Yesterday, not only the players were running and were involved in that mini game, for example, players against players, but also Magnanelli and Padoin, 2 members of the technical staff that are running with the players, that are not touching the ball, so they are not involved playing football, but they are there following the movements, and both of them have a ball under their arm. Why, you will tell me, Beppe? Because, and that's a funny one, when the ball, when they are playing, is going out of the field over the goal, in the throwing line or whatever, they don't want to lose any single minute, any single second to run behind that ball, to take that ball. No, there is Magnanelli or Padoin, 1 time each, that are just giving a ball that they have in their arm. We play. We don't lose any time. And that's a fantastic one, because you see that with these kind of mini details, we want to increase the intensity. We want to make sure that the players are giving everything on the field. There are some particular roles that are even giving more intensity, is the role of that kind of double regista. Why double? Because they are playing in Team A and Team B, 2 different regista. I will reveal you who is the second one, because the one is Locatelli. Who is that second one? I will come back on that in a second. But also them, they have a different shirt on, okay? Why? Because while playing, these players are actually changing team regarding to the flow of the game, regarding where the ball is going. Why? Because we want to increase also how many balls they are able to touch. We want them to touch as many balls, to be as much involved in that game, and that's why they are changing team according to where we are attacking. That's something fantastic, really fantastic, because we want to involve them the most, not letting the rest, and increasing also there the intensity, the pressure. And the goals that yesterday arrived were always a consequence from a high pressing, okay? So I told you the little secrets about the technical staff, about that regista. Now I will reveal you who was that second regista, because we are going into the topics of the tests that were done yesterday. Fagioli was that second one. Well, tell me, Beppe, why Fagioli? Why not Hans Nicolosi? Hans Nicolosi was not able to take part of all of it because he had a small problem to the ankle, but we are going towards some test. Who can be the vice Locatelli? Because at the moment, Locatelli played 351 minutes out of 360, 4 times he started the games, but of course we have to find an alternative. If he has a suspension, you know it, with the yellow cards that we are receiving, it's a probability that probably we have high chances that will happen. A suspension, maybe a bit more tired or whatever. Well, Fagioli has been tested yesterday there. There were 2 teams on the field, a 3-5-2, the usual one, against a 4-3-3. Some people were totally crazy yesterday and happy that maybe Max is thinking to evolve the team in a 4-3-3. Well, the first initial idea is to replicate a bit how Sassuolo is playing. But it was interesting to see who was playing in what position in that 4-3-3. Kostic was playing as a left back, and I can guarantee you it's not the first time that he's tested in that position. Has been tested in that position also last year already in some games. Ealing as a mezzala, especially with now Pogba out of the team. We need a reinforcement there in the middle of the field, especially for parts of the game. When Ealing already tested in USA in that position, we continue to insist on that one. Wea was playing in a 4-3-3, offensive right winger, and then you had a Keane that was scoring straight away also on these passes. So Keane is in form. Can he have a starting spot against Sassuolo or maybe against Lecce? Probabilities are there, yes, because he's in top form. What about the tests that were done? Can we involve in that 4-3-3? Probably we will continue in that 3-5-2, but in parts of the game it could be an idea. You know that on the left side we are with many players that is actually closing the doors to a Ealing Jr., a player that we want to see on the field, maybe not from the start, but with continuity. There with the Juventini, evolving in some parts of the game with some subs in a 4-3-3 with a Kostic tested as a left back can be an idea. With an Ealing Jr. entering a technical, creative, offensive mezzala can be an idea. A Fagioli that is able to play as a regista to sub out in Locatelli can be an idea. So a lot of tests has been done yesterday. Again, I don't think that there will be some changes against Sassuolo. We'll speak about it later tonight with Romeo Agresti live on this channel because he was present, so he will tell us a bit more. But I don't think that we will see some changes against Sassuolo from the start, but maybe during the game. Fagioli, Ealing Jr., attenzione, because it's not the first time that we hear this name in this position. What about the knocks and injuries? Well, there was a problem on the leg for Alexandro. That's an annoying thing. I know that a lot of people are kind of happy. I will never celebrate for an injury for our player, but he will probably not play on Saturday. Not that he was there as a starter, but he will not play. Is it a problem? It could be a problem. It could be really a problem because we are playing 2 times in a row now in a matter of a few days, actually 3 times. And having Alexandro on the bench can be an opportunity. So probably we will see Huijsen on the bench instead of Alexandro, but Alexandro will probably not play on Saturday. Rabiot and Weston McKennie also had some knocks, but for them the alarm came back. So it's not a problem. They will be at disposal. They came back. It's okay. So don't be worried about that. But it also shows how much the players in training session are giving their max and are going with full intensity. Now, what are the consequences of missing maybe a Weston McKennie that is not at 100% to start the game? What is the consequence of not having Alexandro? Probably will go towards the right side of the field for the very first time since the start of the game with Weah and Gatti. Could be a starting differentiation. You remember that I always told you pay attention. Weah and Gatti, maybe it's a bit too dangerous. Well, it could be one of the solutions, not because we want to, but because of necessity, because of these small injuries. Let's see. We can always use Cambiaso on the right instead of Weah, or Cambiaso on the left. Let's see what will happen there. All of this happened in front of the eyes of Luciano Spalletti. That was there not because he wants to become the future coach of Juve, or at least not in the next year, because I think that Spalletti now, he will be there for the Euro 2024 and going with a plan to try to compete, or first of all to qualify to the World Cup in 2026. That is an important one because it will be in front of millions of eyes, because it will be played in USA. So Luciano Spalletti was there. I repeat you, a lot of coaches, when they start their mission with the national Italian team, they travel around Italy and they want to visit also the teams that are present there to speak with the coach, to find good relationship, to avoid problems when you are calling up some players when they are small, injured, when not, to find affinity. It's super important to open a dialogue. We know that Spalletti and Allegri, not always when they were opponents, were the best friends. You have that internal rivalry between people that are coming from the same region of Italy, La Toscana. But yesterday they were speaking with each other, they were checking, they were watching, not only with Allegri but also with Giuntoli after actually a few weeks where they were working together. Now you have a Spalletti that is again working with Giuntoli, but this time for the Italian national team. Yesterday a beautiful image, Spalletti on the bench of Juve. No, not as a coach, but there, together with Max Allegri and with Giuntoli. Max Allegri in the middle. He also spoke with Fagioli, but not only, because at a certain moment he went to do a small walk with Moise Kean. They spoke with each other. Of course, it will all depend on the minutes that Moise will have at disposal with that Juventus. That will be a bit reduced, a bit smaller, because we know it with one competition only, it will be a bit more tough and difficult. Who are the players that could be called up from Juve to the Italian national team? And I hope they will. I hope they can, because a national team without Juventus is not a winning national team. Well, we have Locatelli, we have Chiesa, Gatti, Cambiaso, Fagioli, even Miretti and Moise Kean. Players that can be potentially called up from Luciano Spalletti in that new cycle. I had to speak about Manuel Locatelli. I'm sorry guys, I had to speak about it. It's a bit of a gossip story, but yesterday there was a couple from Italy that were there to assist to that training session of Juventus in La Continassa. While walking around La Continassa, they found a wallet on the ground. Opening it, they found that it was really the wallet of Manuel Locatelli. What they did, good person, fantastic person, they went to the J Hotel, giving it to the reception. Manuel Locatelli, when he was notified about it, he said, wait, I want to meet this person personally, and he also offered signed shirts for these two people. Fantastic couple. Sometimes I still continue to believe that there are some good people on earth. Humanity still is alive. And I finish with a few topics. We have Berardi that will play against Juventus. Berardi that was about to become a Juve player. Well, let's see what he will be able to give in that match. Let's see if he will have revenge. Let's see if he wants still to improve and to show, also to demonstrate to Juve that probably for next year or maybe for the winter, Juventus cannot forget about Domenico Berardi. Well, let's see what will happen, but Berardi will play. He missed the first 2 games, I believe, from Serie A, but he is in total form, leading Sassuolo as a real captain. But on the other side, we have Dusan Vlahovic with his fantastic start. We saw it 2 seasons that he started with Juve, 22-23 and 23-24. In 4 games, 4 goals. Better than Higuain, better even than Cristiano Ronaldo, that Cristiano started with 2, 2 and 3 goals in the first 4 games, and then you saw Gonzalo Higuain with, in 4 games, 3 goals, 2 goals, 1 goal. Important will not be that he's replicating every single year the start of the season, but that Dusan Vlahovic is also able to give continuity to that, because that's where Dusan Vlahovic in the past few seasons we saw that he was dropping. It's after the beautiful starts with Juve, he had some difficulty in continuity, in continuing to score and achieve the goals of Cristiano with Juventus, of Pipita Higuain with Juventus. And that's why the game against Sassuolo will be extremely important to see that continuity of a Dusan Vlahovic, so that he can continue with the show. What is Corriere dello Sport speaking about? They are speaking about Il Salvatore, the savior, because Lautaro at the 85th minute was able to equalize against Real Sociedad. Great game of the goalkeeper of Inter, Sommer. I think they are super happy, because if you saw what Onana did yesterday against Bayern Munich, a total disaster. 1-1 for them, and then you see on Gazzetta dello Sport they are speaking about Canta solo il Napoli. Only Napoli is chanting. Why? Because from the 4 teams of Italy in Champions League, they were the only one able to beat their opponent with a 2-1. Also there in the last minute after that, the opponents were able to equalize. So at the moment, Milan drew, Lazio drew, Inter drew, Napoli won. Are they at the level of last year? Teams that could achieve that semi-final, that final of Champions League? Absolutely not. Will it take some energies for the weekend? Hopefully, yes. That could be a fantastic news for Juve, because we want to, first of all, win against Sassuolo and then reach the top of the ranking to see again Juventus at that first position. Ragazzi, that was it for me. I give you a meeting appointment. We see each other this evening, 11 p.m. with Romeo Agrest. So maximum of like, notification on. Thank you, grazie, forza. Juve.